I already did that "Hey Siri, start the car" joke on a previous review, but this time I actually have the iCar V23 with me. But does it drive as wild as it looks? Let's find out. And the V23 in Nepal comes in a rear-wheel drive configuration with a 59.93 kilowatt-hour LFP battery manufactured by CATL. It's mated to a 100 kilowatt motor at the back that pushes the car forward with 180 Newton meters of torque. The range figure on this is 401 kilometer from CLTC testing. So realistically, real-world range-wise, I'm expecting 350 if driven properly. But forget aerodynamics, just look at this shape. It's built from the ground up to handle the rough stuff. This 2.7 meter wheelbase machine packs an impressive 210 millimeters of ground clearance, giving it the ability to tackle obstacles you wouldn't believe an EV could handle. And the boot is a modest 334 liters with a rear seat that splits 50-50 down the middle to give you an extended space of 744 liters. And there is an additional 90-liter compartment beneath, bumping up the total capacity to 834 liters. As for charging, with your standard 7 kilowatt home charger, just doing some rough math, it'll take around probably 9 hours maybe for a full 0 to 100. But I've been told that this car accepts up to 85 kilowatts of fast DC charging, meaning it should do that 30% in around half an hour given the right conditions. Alright, so what about those crazy exteriors now? First things first. This thing is neoclassical, so you have many old boxy off-roader elements fused in with sleek minimal cuts of today's designs. And yes, it's got proximity sensors sensing that I'm close by with the key fob, so it's gonna lock and unlock itself a lot of times. So for starters, the wheelbase is super long for a car of this length, making the tires absolutely stick out. And for some crazy approach as well as departure angles at the back. I read that it was around 40 degrees at the front and then a solid 35 degrees around the back according to different sources. Like, this is classic off-road stuff. But then the front bumper and headlights are so futuristic and sci-fi looking. So starting at the top, you have some of your sensors baked in, automatic rain sensors, headlights, wipers, and then you have these boneless wipers. Do you hear that? That's plastic. That's also plastic. Okay, that's metal. So yeah, most of the car is plastic on the outside. It's probably because they thought you might actually take this away from the city, and it's probably just going to get dented and rubbed, and so it won't cost a leg and a kidney to repair and replace it. You have these circular LED headlights at the front, indicators and DRLs, and this really reminds me of LC250 design languages. Then you have the iCar badging, your number plate down there, more plastic at the front. These are supposed to be radar sensors packed in on some variants, and coming to the side you have this boxy cut. You have indicators on the side here, an NFC card tag here. I have the key fob though, and 360 cameras on these large electronically adjustable mirrors. And then coming down you have these plastic mud guards and flaps. These actually look like steel covers, but they're actually aluminum alloys with the tire size 255 55 R19s. And then you have disc brakes underneath that and that. whatever, these definitely look very off-road. Also, can you see the suspension setup right there? Sticks out. How cool is that? Coming back up and out, these door handles I find are very practical. They're not the usual electronic sort, but you push them in and you pull them out. Again, super big, practical, and easy. You do have, yep, side steps to like get into the car. Also, they conveniently placed a grab handle there. Nice chunky doors. And at the back too, ingress and egress is very easy thanks to this and that down there. Then you have some V23 graphics on the C-pillar. All of this is covered, by the way. Again, wheel arches that stick out. Do you see what I mean? And then at the back, I don't know, I think the car just locked itself. This is what the key fob looks like, by the way. So I'm gonna unlock it. And here is your CCS Type 2 charger, the AC and the DC. And then coming back towards the rear, it's very clean, plain, and downright boxy. Like, this side mold really reminds me of the Defender design. But then again, if you look here, this is classic G-Wagon for your side light and tail lights that they have incorporated it from. And then you do not get a rear wiper, but you also get a backpack at the back that you can't really access from the outside. You have a 360 camera there, born to play as the motto of this car goes. There is some storage compartment in there, but it is only accessible via this here. Check out the boot space too. Okay, so let's check the interiors out. But really upright door handle, soft touch here with some stitching. All your one touch controls are up here, including your mirror controls. I see a tweeter tucked away there, and then speaker down there. This is netting. It's not a bottle holder, but it should do the trick. And these are more harder plastics down here. But yeah, you do have a grab handle at the front and then a side step. This is 6-way adjustment. So you have height, front, back, and then your angle. And these are heated seats, by the way. Nice perforated leatherette, I suppose. I think this is synthetic as far as I'm aware, but this is also a nice clean finish. This is your AC vent layout, and then you have your headlight adjustment, which is actually a physical knob at the front. So again, using that and getting in. Nice solid thud. You have the iCar badging here, half your controls for your car here. And then on the right hand side are your media controls. There is no driver's display straight off the bat. And then coming down to the adjustment of this, you do get height adjustment, but there's no reach, like no matter how you pull it in or out. But overall, the styling is nice and the finishing is even better. Like, it's a bit messy in here with all my gear, but it's very upmarket in here. Coming on to this center console, now that there isn't much on the driver's side, you will get a 15.2 inch, I believe, 2.5K HD display, and like it's powered by a 8155 Snapdragon chip, so it makes it like super quick and responsive. Like, if I press my brake, this actually lights. That rendering was super quick. I'll have a full explanation in another video, but this car, I don't know if my phone is connected. Yes, it does support wireless Apple CarPlay. My phone is here. No, this isn't a wireless charge pad. It's just written NFC, but there is a hole here where I stuck my finger to take you back to this area. USB-A and 2 USB-C ports, and there's actually a pull tab. And this is how tall this is, and it fits all the way in, like really nice. So nifty storage compartment there. Down here where I have all these different wires and stuff at the moment, This is like a modular sort of cup holder, so in case you have like large items and small items, so I can actually do that. And then it looks like this locks it, but then I can take this entire thing out for more space underneath, and that actually is a lot of space because the glove box here is non-existent. You do have like a hook to like carry a plastic bag, but nothing else. Soft touch finishing here, born to play there. You do have these random Easter eggs of the iCar at the front, and then on the exterior bits of the car up on top. I like the tactility of this car. The window visor, sun visors come out, and you do have a mirror with lighting, but you have your light button. And then you have 2 auxiliary ports. Speaking of auxiliary ports, this is where you connect your accessories. Do you see these torque screws here? There's actually like a mobile stand magnetic holder that you can actually utilize. Pretty cool and nifty. And then down here, I think this is what I love most about the car, saving it for the last. Tactile knobs, very clicky, very thorough. They have that clicky sound. I love it. So this one is your fan speed, just turning it off and on the AC. This is your temperature gauge. Quite nifty again. Snapdragon processors, working terms. And you can also leave it in auto. I would rather not. It's going to get chilly in here. But yeah, and then here's your media control. Volume. This is such a nice rocker. I miss this in most modern cars. And here is your drive mode. So eco, comfort, sport, slippery, and individual. Also, you can go back and forth. Like, this is quite nice and snippy the entire time. So just leaving it in eco mode works like a charm. I programmed this to open up my 360 camera, your air circulation, your hazard lights, and this is your front and back defogging. So yeah, that's pretty much most of it. This is also 4-way electronically adjustable, by the way. You have your mirror controls there, and there's a grab handle for everyone in this cabin. It's a very upright sort of cabin, that's for sure. And then this is not a automatic, but a manual anti-glare mirror. Okay, and so what about the rear seats? Big, bulky door. It's definitely a climb up, so you have a grab handle here too. Thank you, iCar. Hauling myself in, but makes it nice and easy. Then closing that door. Hard plastics, net down here, net here. There is accessory rooms for clipping on here, like a cup holder I saw online. There are torque screws up there too for like an LCD screen that can be accessorized on this car too. No AC vents. That was a nice thud. Nice large thud. This is my driving position in front, and this is ample knee room. You do have a cubby here, probably for like napkins. I don't think you could store anything else. Maybe your cell phone. You do not have any armrest here either. You also do not have a center passenger headrest. Why? Because it's a 4-seater car. You do have lights up here and a grab handle. Like, there are tons of places here to grab onto if you and your driver decide to go off-roading. But foot room here, nice, good under thigh support, nice, and like feels very upright and open and spacious back here. But then you do get like 2 isofix points here and here. And then here's the funny thing. This is 1 pair of seat belts. This is the second. And then up on top, you actually have a 3rd. I don't get it. You do not want to be stuck in the middle seat though. However, something really cool about this car that I might have already shown in the video is you can actually open this space up, and then with this becomes a flat floor bed that you can put longer items in at the back. But anyway, enough about the back seat, the ins and outs of the car. Let me fix this and put this back up. I am sure you're really eager to know what it's like behind the wheel on this EV off-roader, so let's get driving. All right, let's see what this off-roader EV can do. Woo, that's a tall climbing in. All right, I have a lot of things to check. Turning off the hazard lights, turning the car on, seat belts check, mic check, foot on brake, shifting into gear. Always drive responsibly and safely.
I'm here.
Turn on the AC. Nice. So story time first. This brand is a part of the larger Chery Automobile Group, and the domestic brand name inside China is spelled iCar. But for every other country, it's iCar with a U in it. iCar. Why, you might be curious? And it's simple. Chery just didn't want to deal with any of the legal hassles with Apple down the line. Smart. And one of iCar's ethos is to offer a fresh take on what electric mobility can be. And aren't you so done with all the EVs coming to look very similar? The same way all kinds of smartphones look very similar in the 2020s as compared to the wild and bizarre experiments we saw in the 2010s. Yeah, it's the same with this car. Chery just came like bam. How'd you like that for unique? And you can feel it on the inside too. Tight left-hander. Ergonomics on this car is very upright. In fact, you're sat almost as high as like a Toyota Land Cruiser, and trust me, all other SUVs and EVs are like way down below. And that tall windshield angle I was talking about is so obvious behind the wheel. Like, the seating position is honestly very commanding. But that A-pillar with the grab handle does get in your peripheral vision. And also the chunky C-pillars that are blocked out, I think create a bit of a blind spot back there. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And there's no instrument panel, for heaven's sake. Like, it's very similar to a Tesla layout. The center console, the right-hand side of it, is dedicated for your different information, driver display related. And it does feel a bit challenging. Oh, and the other thing that is a bit challenging to me is the lack of rear wiper at the back for that enormous rear windshield. For something that's supposed to hit the mud and dirt, that's kind of sad. But thank God for 360 camera that instantaneously turns on with the flick of your indicators. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the bonnet is actually a bit more narrow compared to the rest of the body. Like, on the sides, you not only have your tires sticking out, but also the side skirts sticking out. And so navigating tight spaces can be a bit of a challenge. And cabin build quality, honestly, is way better than I expected. Like, honestly, there's really good noise cancellation in here, given these large windows surrounding the car. The audio quality is good too. Nothing too extra, but it's still good and crisp audio. And the steering wheel is nice and light, but responsive enough so that when you want to take it away from pitch roads, there is decent feedback. But anyway, what about its driving? Not just the feel inside the cabin. So this car comes with many modes with a dial down here. So you have Eco, you have a Comfort, you have a Sport, you have a Slippery. Oh my god, all these animation sounds. And then you have an individual that lets you customize different things like your accelerator sensitivity, your regen, and a whole lot of other things. So I am keeping it in Eco for now, and it is just 180 Newton meters of torque, but whoa, it does fling you forward when you put your foot down. And the braking, as you just saw, is just as steadfast. It comes with 4 disc brakes and honestly feels very linear and capable. And this being an EV also has 3 levels of regenerative braking. And I, for one, have just left it in high for a change. Didn't expect that. And as for handling, well, at the front, this car comes equipped with a McPherson independent suspension setup, and at the back is a 5-link independent suspension setup. And I'll be honest, the rebounds are a bit bouncy inside here sometimes. Like, it's a very soft tuned car. Like for instance, when braking really hard, the nose actually dives, and then when you accelerate really hard, the nose actually then lifts up while accelerating. Like, not the best for handling, but it's absolutely fun. Don't get me wrong. So this car like definitely has some spunk and some character, and that crazy 210 mm of ground clearance plus those crazy approach and departure angles just makes this fly around, like regardless of the surface. Plus, I did some digging and there's even like a proper 10 mm battery protection too, so that's just like an extra peace of mind given to you. Thanks, iCar. And while this isn't the most important part about this review, I think, but how's my range and efficiency been? Like one swipe on the center console and I'm actually averaging around 15 to 16 kilowatt hour for every 100 kilometer in city driving. But I also tested this up climbing up a mountain and it did get around 20 kilowatt hours. So that's the iCar V23, and silent off-roading, I guess, is just the future now. Rugged looks, real ground clearance, and enough range to keep the adventure alive. The V23, I think, is not without fault, but it does dare to do what most EVs won't: think outside the box. And don't forget, all this currently comes under 47 lakhs. iCar Nepal have not finalized an exact price at the time of review, but I'll have it in the description box down below when that comes. And that alone, I think, makes it one of the most exciting electric SUVs you can actually get your hands on right now. Anyway, that was it for this review. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into EVs that are shaping our road. Peace.